Mushka, when someone relationship undergoes a rough patch or someone have a breakup, then how much does it impact career of the person, house life, career life, as a married life, as a kid, as a mental? Please give me some details about this. It's very interesting and very important topic for our every human life.
Yeah. So it definitely is important. And, when you're in a difficult relationship, whether it's a marriage, just a partnership, boyfriend, girlfriend, even friendships, but we'll keep that on the side for now. But, marriage and serious intimate relationships, when you're involved in a toxic relationship, in an unhealthy relationship, sometimes you don't even know it until it could be months or years down the line because you've been so sucked into this relationship. And what it does to you is it affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It drains everything out of you. And when you're in it, you don't know. You don't know that maybe you're becoming a different person, you're becoming really unwell yourself. It starts to affect everything else in your life. You can't focus on the relationship because it's unhealthy. You can't focus on your career or your job because you know something's off in your relationship. You can't focus on the children because for some reason you've been a little bit more snappy, you've had less patience, and then one day you realize, oh wow, something is going on in my relationship, whether it's there could be so many contributing factors to unhealthy relationships, and toxic relationships, particularly in a marriage. Things like addiction, mental illness, infidelity, cheating, manipulation, control, gaslighting, all these things in a relationship. Once it hits you and you kind of figure out what's going on, you realize how much of yourself you then try to give to the relationship to make it work. So you end up becoming crazy yourself because you're trying to fix everything that is slowly deteriorating. You're trying to show up better for work and try to give 100% to work and your career and your job, but you are slowly getting more crazy because of this unhealthy relationship. Let's say it's a wife who has to have the responsibilities of being there for the children, having to take care of the house, having to show up even for a job, but she's going crazy because she's in this extremely unhealthy relationship, or her partner showed some type of toxic behaviors that now she can't focus in any areas of her life. She's just trying to fix herself. She's just trying to show up and be okay for herself. And these types of toxic behaviors can lead the partner to experience depression, anxiety. I've seen women who, after, let's say, their partner had an affair or cheated on them, I've seen the woman, turn to her own type of um, escape, such as her own drinking or using drugs, or herself having affairs to try and get back, let's say. But it it becomes so ingrained in you, this craziness, that you don't even realize how much of your life it takes up. So, you stop giving as much attention to your children, you stop putting in enough effort into work. Maybe you'll even lose your job because you've become so involved in this part of your life. Um, and you're expected to keep up so much of it, but what do you do to take care of yourself? You have a full day working, taking care of the kids, taking care of your house, but then you have your partner who has done really difficult, or really uh even betraying you, and distrust, and all these really inappropriate things that now you want to try and show him love and still be there for him, but he's hurt you. um and so it's just a mess. You found yourself in such a mess. And the first thing that I do, to tell people to really take care of themselves, is to find some support, whether that's a therapist, a coach, a support group, a friend who you can lean on, because you're taking on so much at that point that it's too much for your shoulders. You're gonna break. You're gonna end up losing it all. You can't give 100% to everything without taking care of yourself. And so, reaching out for support is always number one. Finding someone who's trained in whatever it is you're going through. If you've experienced infidelity in your relationship, find a therapist who specializes in that. If you're dealing with addiction, find some type of support group that can help specialize in that. If your children are suffering because of this and you feel like you can't give them a lot of help and attention for their needs right now, find support for them. And you know and then once you kind of reach out and take some of that burden off yourself, you can then begin to put the pieces back into place. And a lot of hard decisions come into play. When you're in an unhealthy relationship, it's, will I stay? Will I go? Will we separate? Will we divorce? Will I have to tell people? Will we have to tell the kids? So many decisions come into place that having that support just kind of takes off some of the burden and the responsibility of you to have to give so much to these decisions. And once you've kind of gotten your bearings and you have a grip on the help that you have and the support that you have, you can then start to heal. And in through healing, you're left with a lot of trauma and triggers. And whether or not you stay in this relationship or whether or not you work on the relationship, you still have to heal your wounds, and you have to heal everything that's been done to you and that's happened, um, and show up again to all these other areas in your life. You don't just have a really unhealthy relationship one day and then show up to work completely fine the next day. You need to really continue this work. It's kind of like a lifelong journey. And it's like this inner healing that doesn't happen overnight. And I'm sure a lot of people want it to or expect it to happen overnight. Oh, let me go to a therapist, or let me journal for a few days and get this off my chest and then I'll be fine. But really, everything goes so deep, and really getting to the root of the trauma, and even the relationship needs a lot of healing. If you choose to stay, or even if you choose not to stay in that relationship, you're still going to have some type of interaction that you need to work on. And before you do that, you won't be able to show up in all other areas of your life. And I think people expect you to bounce back in this society. It's very much like, oh, you went through something tough, figure it out, deal with it, get help, and then bounce right back, because you're still a mother and you still have a career and you still have to do the laundry. And it's not that simple. It takes a lot of work, but it is possible to come back to everything else that you have in your life. You won't be the same, but eventually you'll actually be even better than you were before any of this happened. So it's definitely, it's a hard journey, but it's a doable journey. And getting through that journey, you discover who you are, what you have, what you've been through, and how you can be better moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can anybody out there hear me?